welcome to Andertons Music Television. My name is Jack and I'm here with...
Luke from Korg.
Every time! I feel like Captain Planet or something when that goes. Right, we've had a wicked day. I had a massive Subway for lunch, courtesy of Korg. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So maybe I should... Do I have to? No, it's right. Certainly not sponsored in any way. I love all that stuff. When
Other outlets are
available. It kills the vibe. It's like wearing a car. Right. Cool. MS20 Mini, this is.
It is.
And I think maybe what we'll do with this series is it's like a primer and some tips and tricks.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with it, or you thought, if I came into the store, into Andertons, or your mate had one you could borrow, Luke is going to tell you how to get into it and get some music out of it, because he's a very musical mother. I won't finish it off, but you know what I'm saying. Let's do it. How do we kick off?
So, similar to the Odyssey we looked at before, it's a two oscillator analog monophonic synth this time. Mm-hmm. But it's laid out very differently. Now the thing is, when I come to a new synthesizer, whatever it is, whatever brand, I always think, okay, let's just do a little bit of orientation and see what's where. So we've got our analog oscillators here. Mm-hmm. We've got a little mixer. We've got two filters, which makes it quite unique, which we'll get onto in a minute. Then you've got your kind of destinations for your different parameters, send them to LFOs and things. I tend to just turn all those off in the beginning. You've got your modulation generator, which is basically an LFO, and you've got two envelopes. Yeah. And then you've got this whole section here, which is very scary, but this is called a semi...
I almost held on.
Save me from the modulation matrix. But it's called a semi-modular synth, which basically means without using that, you can just use this part fine. You don't have to even worry about it. Yeah. But then if you want to, you can dive deeper and start rerouting things and patching. So in the beginning, we'll just ignore that.
Sorry, no, I'm giggling because I was... Because all those, we were talking earlier about like Terminator and stuff, and they could circumvent any form of lock system just by rerouting the submatrix or going into the hyperspace.
Right, yeah.
And I'm like, he's delivered again.
Maybe they could have used an MS20.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll do that. We'll bypass Lee's security into into the ivory tower.
Let's do it. Patch in. Yeah.
Right, so we're going to get it into initial state.
Yeah, so it is actually in quite a raw state at the moment. So you're basically just hearing one of the analog oscillators at the moment, just the first one. And these are different waveforms. So that was a saw wave. You've got a triangle wave, which is a lot smoother. Then you've got a square wave.
Ooh, brash.
With pulse width. And then you've got noise. So you can use that for all kind of different sound effects, percussion sounds. You can then change the octave of that. Let's go back to saw wave. You've got portamento. So you can glide if you want to. Yeah. And then you've basically got that duplicated here. So then we can bring up the volume of that oscillator. Now they're in octaves, as you can hear there at the moment. Yeah. But again, you can change the waveform with the second oscillator. If you want it in pure unison, you can knock the octave of oscillator one up. And then you can detune. Yeah. Or you can keep it to an octave. Then you're into your filter section. So that's what really makes the MS20 special. Back in 1978 when it was originally made, people were going mad for this because you've got a low pass filter and a high pass filter, both with resonance. So what that means is effectively if we just use the low pass, obviously you can roll off your frequencies, but if we add in some resonance, which is called peak on here, you can make it sound quite evil.
Space man!
Totally. But then add in some of the other filter as well, you can kind of sculpt out. So you can use it's like a bandpass because you can kind of sculpt out a little bit of the frequency range that you want. Yeah. But they're both resonant as well, so you get that really
so you've got
kind of,
so much,
so many harmonics and stuff going on. It's just like It's pretty wild. Or of course you can use them independently. So if you just want a fully open low pass, then you can just do your kind of high pass stuff.
Yeah. Really.
And it's obviously being fully analog. It's just silky smooth.
Yeah.
And when you use the other filter, the low pass, if I just crank the resonance without trying to break your speakers.
Keep going.
You can start to hear the harmonic series as you go down.
Is that on Netflix? Sorry.
Yeah. Clean out the older logos.
2 filters with the noise.
Yeah.
A lot of for percussive sounds and things like that. That's really handy. Yeah. And it's got the raw balls of it are different to.
They are. It has a very. That's the great thing about pure analog synths. Back in the day, obviously they all had their own character, and that's kind of coming back now with all these reissues and.
Well, with you guys, yeah I think a lot of people appreciate. I appreciate it
because they do sound. We've heard both of them side by side, and they really have very different sounds, even though we're effectively doing similar things with them. So yeah. So then you've got the you've got your envelopes, so that's relatively simple. So you've got a hold time as well, so you can actually kind of use that like a sustain. And then it'll hold for a specific amount of time, and then it'll stop dead, like that. Right. So you can put that onto a really long time, and actually just perform your sound design without needing to staple or anything like that. So you can do that. But you've also got your regular envelope as well. So soften up your attack. Longer release.
Such a unique sound.
So it's sometimes nice to have a little smidgen of release on there. So it's not quite so clinical.
Yeah.
You've also got a second envelope, which will by default be routed to the pitch, but you can, when we get into the patching in a minute, you can see you can do some more interesting things with this as well. And then you've got your modulation generator, which is Korg's name for the LFO back then. That's what they used to call them. So it's basically the same thing. You've got different waveforms for your LFO. And you've also got and it's variable, and it kind of smoothly transitions between the different ones. And you've got frequency, so the speed and that light is.
I hope this comes across on the camera. If not, we're just sort of goggly-eyed looking at this. It looks great.
Yeah,
it just
chip it back. Yeah,
it's kicking off down here.
So if you wanted to, for instance, send something to this LFO, the modulation generator, you do it via this matrix here. So this is the low frequency filter. This is the high frequency filter. And
so they're connected to what's above it?
Exactly, yeah.
Nice.
So this is the amount that I'm sending this to the LFO basically. So you can get that really spiky thing or something squelchy.
Spiky! Squelchy! Spiky! Squelchy!
Yeah.
That's the name of our album coming out. Spiky and Squelchy.
Yeah. I love the spiky one because
Who's who? Are you Squelchy or am I?
I don't know actually. Probably.
What were we going to say? No, okay, you decide. Bring the hate, YouTube.
We've had it before.
Yeah.
So what I like about the spiky one is you can use it like an arpeggiator. It's just great for making bass lines.
It's a wicked tip.
Yeah. And then you can, the rate or the frequency will be your tempo basically.
Wise man.
And you can also go to a ridiculously high level. So it's such a wide range.
Wolfpecky.
Yeah. So it's like, it's so organic. It really feels like you're playing a kind of organic instrument rather than, clicking
Thanks
a mouse
for guiding us through this. So these are, match up with what's above them.
Same thing here. So if I turn off that one, turn on the high pass filter, turn on the high pass filter. You've got a similar thing now.
So different.
Yeah. That's quite cool. So yeah, and you can do the same thing actually for pitch as well, which is quite interesting. So.
Big sounds there.
So you just get that nice gentle vibrato. Then you go into the peak range. Yeah. He's got it.
He's off again. You set the dogs off.
Yeah, so lots of scope there.
Fabulous.
And we haven't even touched the patch panel yet.
No, should we stick with the knobs? What
Yes.
we got over here?
So these ones, this is only really relevant if you're plugging external instruments in, because that's another great thing about the MS20 and why people love the originals, because it's effectively a signal processor as well. So you can patch in external instruments and then send them through this whole kind of matrix as well.
And for such things, you'd need some patch cables.
Yes.
And we go into, again, Pete's magical drawer.
Yeah.
I wonder what's... Oh, cool. Some interesting stuff in there.
There's all sorts.
Yeah, the patch cables. You get these with it, yeah?
You do. You get 10 of these, and they're all like on the mini jacks. So, yeah, they're all just literally ready to go.
Lovely.
So, the way that... let me show you a few kind of basic patchings then. So, to get you started. So, I saw you playing around with it earlier. You're doing all this business.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on there? Nothing's happening. And that's because it needs to be patched in, basically.
Okay.
So, on the panel here, you can see you've got a little picture of a mod wheel, and a little picture of a switch, and that's these. So then all you have to do is get a cable and connect it to whatever you want to modulate with these.
Cool. So, I want that to do pitch.
Okay, so
Please.
we go into here. So the mod wheel.
Yeah.
We go to frequency. Still doesn't do anything because you have to tell it what the range is effectively.
Okay.
Pitch bend range, which is done here.
Great.
And now I can set the range here, whatever I want it to be.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be. What's great is it doesn't have to be pitch. It can be filter. So, and then I can, wherever it is. And I can, if I wanted to have a massive effect. I can do that. And what's nice is you kind of feeling your way through the sound.
So that's a really great starting point for people when they're in there to think, maybe start with these physical controls.
Yeah, exactly.
And choose, mentally, where do you want to plug it into? What do you want to control? But then remember that you have to kind of set the amount.
Set the amount, and this is the sender level, if you like, from this. Because you won't see it on the video probably, but it says external there.
Yes.
So that basically means you're using this external kind of section.
Lovely.
To route it in. Another one you can do. Say I wanted to route this envelope generator, which we haven't used yet, into the filter, so you get that kind of nice developing sound after you've played the keys.
Oh, sounds good.
Yeah, so you can go, there's our raw sound. If we go out of envelope generator 1, which is here, the output of that, into cutoff, which is this. So now, again, I tell it by how much, so it's going to be, so you've got that going on, and then you can get that kind of thing. So, or you can do the same thing in reverse. So close.
That's such a handy tech.
It's so easy, isn't it? When you start looking at how easy it is to do this. And obviously that's quite a slow attack.
I used to have an MS2000 B.
Yeah.
And that was all kind of a digital version of this. And I never went near it because it was a nightmare. But maybe that's because it didn't have this tactile...
That's the thing about this, you can just get involved and just experiment, and then when you find something that works really well, that's really cool. And we also do this patch book which you can download for free on our website. And it's got loads of different examples to get you started kind of thing, and to how to do all this stuff. So,
do you have any favourite combos? Because you can plug more than all these...
So I'm just staying with this one, because this is actually quite a good example. I'll show you how we can add more cables to do different things. So,
Vince cable.
so we slowly opening as I play the key. Now, if I didn't want it to do that all the time, I could actually introduce the switch to turn on and off that effect. That's really what the switch is for, is to turn on and off things. So I can go switch out into envelope generator 1, trigger in.
Yeah.
So now, let's just open that a little bit. If I put the release down a bit.
This is great. Fabulous.
So yeah, you can use it for that. You can
sample and hold.
Yes.
Now I'm looking at it. It's like a new world has opened up in front of me.
So a lot of people probably on digital synths are like, oh, I like that sample and hold sound. I'll just go down the preset. There it is. But yeah, but this is like the actual way that you create it, the old school
OG.
way.
Let's do it.
So what you do is you take a noise generator, and it works particularly well with pink noise. So we're going to go out of the pink noise, and we're going to go into sample and hold.
Sticking it in the pink.
Yeah. And into sample and hold. And then, sample and hold is basically a rhythmic kind of effect.
Yeah.
But it needs some sort of rhythm to clock it to.
Okay.
So we're going to use
it's not going to do anything
it won't do anything at the moment. That's just dead, basically. It won't do anything. So, it's not doing anything beyond the normal sound.
Yeah.
I need to tell it the clock. So we already have an inbuilt clock here called the modulation generator or the LFO. So all we do is you take an output out of the modulation generator LFO into the clock of the sample and hold, and then I can decide, and then I need to send the sample and hold effect somewhere. So in this case, I'm going to go out of there into. Now, so far we've been using things like frequency, cutoff. I'm going to go into total, which basically means gives me access to all three of these things at once, and then I can send them by using the control. So you know, I've got that nice steppy kind of sample and hold thing. And obviously the frequency of the
9 Inch Nails, man.
Yeah. Frequency of that is set by this frequency here. But I can also do the same thing to the pitch. Just so good. And then you can adjust the range of that. So if you want to go mad.
Just get your guitar and start playing some riffs, man.
You get a nice little clicky, steppy thing as well. Something's happening.
Just keep fiddling, man.
Let's bring in some high pass as well. The coolest thing of all is that you can then clock that to say a Volca or something, have a drum loop going in sequence with that. Do you want to see that?
Oh, I want to see it so bad. Can we do anything? Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling.
I need to just get the right cable though. So
that's all right. Yeah. We just had the voice of God kick in, and we've patched it in, haven't we?
We've patched it in, yeah.
And I heard a little glimpse of what's about. Tell us what we're doing. So now
I'm going to show you how to patch it first of all. Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
So basically, we had this really lovely sample and hold patch we made. But we're saying we want to clock it to something else to put it into kind of a musical context, if you like. So I've actually going to sync it here to my Volca sample, which has a drum loop on it. So what I do is I take out the clocking part of this patching. Yeah. Because we no longer want it to clock to the LFO in here. We want to clock it to the Volca sample. So we've gone sync out of there, and we're going to go into the clock of the sample and hold. So now let's start our drum loop off. this is dictating the tempo now. So, so we can change the vibe a bit. Literally listen to that all day. It's just it's incredible.
We're sacking the video off now. See you later, guys.
And it's just the motion and it's, again, go back to this kind of word, organic, but it is really like you're kind of sculpting a sound with this analog stuff. It's just,
And just how we're getting that sound. So these two all of these speak together really well with these cables. And then we've just got to run it into a mixer.
Into a little mixer, or you could use the Volca-Mix, depending on how many channels you need.
Because this is it's
a mini jack out. Yeah, so again, you could just plug that straight into here, and off you go.
Yeah. It should be like sold as this.
Yeah.
I just want to buy this.
Yeah.
And open it up.
And it to sound like that.
Yeah. We need you for that, mate. Because it's still killing playing. I really appreciate that. Is there any other bits you want to touch on other than maybe just playing us out?
Yeah, I can do you a bit more playing if you want.
Oh, I'd love that. I'd love that. And I implore you to look back. Ignore me jumping in and ruining it, but look back because you've really shown people the way, basically.
Yeah, it's like showing different elements of it which people don't necessarily know.
Maybe come in with your iPhone and sneak. Can I have a pair of headphones and Andertons and sit there and just maybe try replicate what Luke's done there, and then go off and turn some knobs and plug some stuff in. Yeah. How fun is that?
Yeah.
Lovely. We'll leave you to play. Thanks, Luke, man.
Good to see you.
I'll leave you to play us out. I'm excited.
Here we go.
Euro party, Come on, Pete. Thanks, mate.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the Andertons YouTube keyboard channel. If you play guitar or bass, or you're a drummer, or you're into music technology, you might find one of our other YouTube channels interesting, and I'll put links to those in the description below. So if you'd like more information on the products we featured in this video, please click up here. If you'd like to watch another video from the Andertons keyboard channel, please click here. If you'd like to buy a t-shirt like the one I'm wearing, please click down here. And if you'd like to subscribe to our keyboard channel, please click down here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, mate. Oh, we love you, Luke. Cheers, mate.